friends, it's Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We're going to be catching up with what I've been doing this past month for cross stitch and quilting and other crafts in my craft room. And also just doing some life updates, some school updates, just all the things that we do in our floss tubes. So this is Flosstube number 67. It is December 3rd, 2024. I'm coming to you from the beautiful Columbia, Missouri, home of the Tigers, MIZ. So this is kind of exciting because this week is my 5-year anniversary with the University of Missouri. So I'm super excited about that. I have my Tiger shirt on just to celebrate a little bit. But I want to share with you all of my cross stitch and my quilting and all my other stuff. So full disclosure, first and foremost, I have been sick for like a week. So if my voice sounds off or if I start coughing or hacking or whatever, just know that I've been sick for a while and I am definitely getting over it and I'm definitely feeling a lot better than I was. But I'm still moving a little slower than I was. And it also cut like a week out of my crafting, which is just not ideal at the Christmas time of year. But we are moving on and we're going to just share what I've been doing for cross stitch. And we're both surprised because I completely forgot that I have a finish. So in the November floss tube, I shared with you that I was working on the butternut house for Houses on Pumpkin Lane. And I was putting together notes for today's floss tube. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta share the progress that I've made on that. And I pulled it out and whoa! I think there were cross-stitch fairies or something because I finished house 5. I completely forgot that. But now after I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I stayed up late one night and I finished it and it's great. So here is house 5 for Houses on Pumpkin Lane. I do not have house 6 finished or started, but it will obviously be next up. But let me show you what I have so far. So I am definitely over halfway at this point. Yay! I have 4 more houses to go. The next house up is the Candy Apple house. Let me grab that chart so you can see it. Well, I'm obviously not showing the chart. I'll show you the pattern though. Here's the cover picture for Candy Apple house. Super, super cute. Love this little apple tree. Super excited about stitching that. And remember, I'm not doing this lower border and I'm not doing the in-between borders as she has outlined on her blog. I am doing my own little thing, which I love, and it's been working out great. So this again is where I'm at. And there's the butternut house, which I completely forgot that I finished. Oh, such is life, right? Like I said, I've been sick for a week, so give me a break. All right, next up is progress on the Colorado Cross Stitchers Snowman collector. And I'm stitching this on a 14 or 18 count Ada, and it's the Stormy Sea, I believe. Pearl Gray, Stormy Sea, Pearl Gray, I don't know. This is my progress on it, and we have an issue. I had this in a hoop to begin with, and I tugged, and now I have a hole in my Ada cloth. So I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that. I don't know if it's going to be in part of the design. Like if it's behind a snowman, I feel like I can like patch it and kind of fix it. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's kind of messed up. So I don't want to like stop, but I feel like there's something I can do. I mean, if nothing else, I'll applicate a little heart over it or something. So yeah, have you ever had that happen to you? Have you been working on a stitch and then just got a hole in your cloth or something went awry and you're like, oh no, now what? So yeah, this is my progress on it. I love the little snowcat. He is my super, super favorite. I'm almost done with the first page of the chart. She has the chart broken down into 4 pages, I believe. So I'm almost done with the first quadrant. And so I'll keep, moving on and continuing on with this, but I don't know what's going to happen when I get here. I really feel like I should probably count over and down and see where this lands on the chart. And if it's like behind a snowman, then I'll be golden because I'll just put a little piece of Ada behind there and stitch through both layers and make it work. If it's not, I'm gonna have to figure something out because I don't want to start this over. I just don't. I have so many stitches in it already. And I know some of you are like, you're just gonna have to start it over, but I don't want to. So we're gonna have to figure something out. If you have suggestions, leave them in the comments below, please. And yeah, I mean, I thought about making it smaller, but I really want to stitch the whole thing. if I'm lucky, this little snowman right here will be where the hole is at. I feel like he is. Otherwise, maybe I could put like a charm over it, like a little snowflake charm or something, and put a few other little charms on there so it doesn't look like blatantly obvious that I'm trying to hide a hole. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the snowman collector. And to be quite honest, since that happened, I haven't worked on it much because I'm just a little bit distraught and upset. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, and then I'm trying to figure out like the motivation. I'm trying to get myself motivated back to work on it more. So I'm kind of sad about that one. Okay, moving on. Next up, I told you I was going to start this, and I have. And okay, so I gotta say, Stitch and Granny, hey, you are amazing. I'm so glad that you encouraged me to do this one, and I'm glad that you told me it wasn't going to be like a huge time-intensive thing to get started, because look at this. I have pretty much the entire alphabet done. I have one more row, and then I have one more row of leaves and then a little house stuff at the bottom, and that's it. This is pretty much where I've been spending all my time, especially after the hole in the snowman thing. So yeah, this is where I'm at, and I did trade out some of the colors just because I did not want to have to purchase colors, and I just decided that I would just choose my own because I have tons and tons of floss. So yeah, so this one I'm stitching on a 28 count white Lugana cloth. I love Lugana, which I mentioned last time, and it's turning out really good, and I love it so much. I do stitch this in a hoop, so I took it out of the hoop to show you today, but I stitch this normally in a hoop, and I do use the Nurge extra small hoops. Here's the hoop. Woo, woo. All right, so yeah, Nurge hoop, extra small is what I use because I just like that size in my hand. I don't like to have a huge hoop in my hand. It like makes my thumb and my fingers and my right in here. That hurts if I have a bigger hoop. So I go with the extra small Nurge hoop on all of my Lugana cloth. And to be quite honest now, the Ada, I'm not using a hoop anymore. I thought I would first because 18 count is kind of small, but then after I used it for a while and after I got the hole in my Ada cloth, I was like, you know what, I don't really need a hoop for Ada cloth, so I'm not using a hoop on the Ada, but I do on the Lugana. All right, so December goals for cross stitch is to get the house number 6 on Pumpkin Lane, the Hazel on Pumpkin Lane, that one's stitched up. I also want to finish the Hometown Holiday, which is honestly where I'm spending my time, and I'm probably going to continue on it until I'm done because I'm really excited about it. I want to get progress made on the Snowman Collector, so I've got to find that motivation and get myself like on board to continue moving on with that one. And then a November goal that was not accomplished, I need to start my 1991 Prairie Schooler Santa. So those are my cross stitch goals for December. That's kind of where I'm just going to focus my time on those 4 items, and I don't feel like I'm going to start anything new. Or start like grab anything new for December. That might change, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But for right now, I'm just going to focus on those 4 things and try to get progress made and some more finishes done on those things in December. All right, so that is my cross stitch. Next up is quilting, and to be quite honest, I've done a lot of quilting stuff, and you need to stay tuned to my channel because I have some really fun videos coming up. Hopefully you saw the video I posted last week, and we're gonna have a bigger reveal in a little bit. I posted the video on finishing up the Christmas tree wall hanging quilt. I put 35 ornament hangers on that quilt, and so I do have it hanging in my living room. I'm gonna show you that in a little while. And so it's up and my ornaments are on there, and my husband even got some lights to add on to it. So super excited about that. I posted that video last week on just how to add some hangers to any wall hanging or quilt that you may have that you want to hang stuff off of. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. All right, so I do have a couple quilty things also. I ended up giving this quilt to a really good friend. I had this quilt done probably about a year and a half ago, maybe. And it's the Lori Holt Vintage Christmas. And I love this quilt so much. No, maybe it's Cozy Christmas. Lori Holt Cozy Christmas. Whoops. Oops. Okay. Yeah, Lori Holt Cozy Christmas. It's an applique quilt. I finished this a while back and decided that I had a new friend that is super cool, and I wanted to just bless his life, I guess. He loves Christmas. So I decided just to wrap this up, and we took it and delivered it through another friend. Thank you, Annabelle. To get to him for his Christmas stash, because I think that he has like tons of stuff to decorate for Christmas. This one almost fits his bed. He sent me a couple pictures, and I am super excited that he loves it, and I'm so happy that I was able to share something that I made and just to enrich someone else's life. So that was super fun. I think it probably made me more happy than it did him, even though he's like over the moon happy about it. Yeah, so thankful I was able to do that for him. So that's one thing. The next thing that you hopefully saw started was the Lori Holt Let's Make a Snowman quilt series. So this was a Sewalong she did earlier this fall, but hers is wrapped up. I hadn't gotten mine started because I was working on Be Happy. So then I went ahead and got the Let's Make a Snowman quilt started, and I have a video series lined out and scheduled to go through about the middle of January to show just tips and tricks along the way on how to put your Let's Make a Snowman quilt together. So if you were behind like I was or am, then please tune in for that video series and see the tips and tricks that I share. Definitely check out the one with the snowman word. If you were having problems with those letters, I have a super cool trick for you, so make sure you check out that video. All right, so next up, I mentioned last time that I was gonna do this, and I actually have progress made. Tia Curtis has a super cool video, or a super cool pattern out there called Berry Jam. I'm not gonna show the whole thing because I have a couple of videos for this too, but I do have a really good start on my Lori Holt scraps using the Berry Jam pattern from Tia Curtis. So super excited about that. I actually have 3 Berry Jam quilt tops together from those scraps, and I have probably enough scraps to do another 4 or 5. So those are gonna be a combination between angel wing donation quilts and pile quilts. So when people need a quilt, I have some in the pile to give to bless their lives. All right. So here's some more things coming up in my quilting world. First and foremost, I'm going to be making this small Elizabeth Hartman Delightful Desert quilt. This is going to be a baby quilt for someone I love so much. So this will be coming soon. I think, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I feel like I might do a little video series on this just because Elizabeth Hartman patterns have a lot of tiny pieces, and I feel like sometimes when you have a quilt that has a lot of pieces, you get a little overwhelmed with it. So I thought, you know what, I've done several of these at this point, so maybe I should start a little video series on just conquering a quilt by Elizabeth Hartman. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, leave me a comment in the description box, or in the description box. Oh my goodness. Leave me a comment down below, and I will see if I can put something together while I'm making this quilt. I don't have anything for it yet. I need to get the supplies and all of the stuff, including the time to make the quilt, so I don't know when it would be out. But I know this needs to be done before April, so it would definitely be within the first few months of 2025. So that's one quilt coming. The next thing up is I purchased the Prairie Home book by Lori Holt. There are, I don't even know how many projects in this book. There are a ton. I don't know if they list it here in the front. Let's look real quick. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, they're listed, but they're not numbered. Oof. All right, well, there are a lot of quilts in this book, and I would love to pick one of the quilts in the book and make it. So I think that's going to be a December goal as well, is just to go through this book and find a quilt that I would like to make that is out of the Prairie Home book, because I feel like if I buy the book, I need to make at least one quilt out of it. All right. So yeah, so I don't know. I walked, you know, I went through here a little bit, and there are several quilts that I like. But if you have this book, leave me a comment below and let me know which quilts you're going to be making or you have made. Or is there a quilt in here that you're like, oh my gosh, I need more help? And maybe I'll tackle that one and we can work on it together. So that's another quilting project. Okay, so I also, this past month, let's see, what else have I done? Oh, my husband loves me so much. He actually bought me the entire Quilt Seed pattern series for Mercantile. So I have all 6 of the Quilt Seed patterns for Mercantile, but he bought kits. So I have all the fabric too. So I haven't done those before, obviously, or else he wouldn't have gotten them for me. So I'm going to also start a Quilt Seed packet series starting in January. That's going to be on Tuesdays. So for like 6, probably 7, maybe 8 weeks, I'm going to have a video series on the Quilt Seeds for Mercantile. So if you haven't done those and you like them, I'm going to be using all 6 of them. And I'm going to put it into a quilt. And much to some of yours dismay, it's going to be replacing this quilt for a while on the wall. Just because, I mean, change is good. You know, change is good. So it will be gorgeous and I'm excited about doing that. I actually have the first block done. These blocks are huge too. They're like 25 by 29, I think. So it's going to be a rather large quilt. I got to make sure I measure my wall space and make sure it fits. And we'll walk through that a little bit too in that series. So be looking for that coming in January. And so we'll have a video for each of the Quilt Seed packet patterns, and then we'll also have one assembling it into a quilt and kind of talking about space and how to adjust patterns for that and all that kind of good stuff. So that's where we're at with that. And let's see, I'm checking my notes, so hang on. I think that's all. The other things that I've done in November, I made stockings for my mother-in-law. I made Christmas tags. I made Christmas cards, which are addressed and stamped and ready to be mailed. I do have an idea to do some pillowcases for some Christmas gifts, I guess. So I'm going to try to do that. And then I also have some holiday baking to do. So we're hosting a chili cook-off at our house in 2 weeks. Thankfully, I wasn't this last weekend because I was so sick. Anyway, we're hosting a chili cook-off in our house at 2 weeks. So I want to make some Christmas cookies as a little snacky snack for that. So I'll probably be doing those. I may share some pictures on Instagram and TikTok for that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then let's see. Oh, okay. So here's the big thing. At the end of December, from December 19th through January 6th, I am off work. So we have a little vacation planned in there. And then obviously Christmas and New Year's is planned in there as well. But I'm gonna have several days like free that I can do all the crafty things. So I'm hoping to get all kinds of fun stuff done. I'm hoping to do some quilts for angel wings. I'm hoping to schedule in a quilting day at my brother's. And I'm hoping to just have some time to sew because I haven't even touched my sewing machine in a week. That's how sick I've been. Can you believe that? I haven't even touched it in like a week. So crazy, crazy, crazy. But I'm gonna have like 2.5 weeks off and I'm super excited about that. It's between semesters, my class will be wrapped up, and it will just, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So the other thing that I've been doing, which I really haven't done too much on, my friend Janet saw my Be Happy puzzle and she was like, I love that puzzle. Is that the only one you have? And I'm like, yeah. Well, she had this one and she brought it to me and she's like, here you go. You can do this one now too. So I started it. This one is going to be tough because all of those fabrics out there, whew, it's going to be tough. I have the border together. That's all I have together. But I think I'm going to work on that a little bit over my little Christmas break too. So that should be super fun. And I will put in the description box below a link to the puzzle keeper that I have for this because it's super cool. It's like a big piece of felt and you roll it up around this tube and you secure it and then you can just like store it. You don't have to leave your puzzle out all the time because for me that would not work because I have a cat and a dog and I don't have a place that I'm just gonna like leave all the puzzle pieces out anyway. So super fun. All right, so with all of that, we are going to take a little trip down the hallway and I'm going to show you the Christmas tree quilt. Okay, so here we are in my living room. You might be able to see the kitty cat down there. This is the Christmas tree quilt hung. I know you guys have been dying to see this. So this is what it looks like during the daytime. And I do have 35 different ornament hangers on here, so there are actual Christmas tree ornaments. We'll just move in a little bit, don't worry. There are 35 ornaments hung on the tree. I do have a sleeve, and I'm using just a regular curtain rod at the top that's mounted to my wall in my living room. It stays up there all year, and I just switch out the quilt as I want. So yeah, so I have it finished, and I will say I'm not entirely pleased with the background. It's a little busy, but it works and it's fine. I'm also not entirely pleased with the blocking of the bottom of the quilt. I think I'm going to spray mist it and stretch it a little bit to block out the bottom of my quilt a little bit. It pulled in because I put lots of extra layers of batting behind the tree pieces. So when we quilted it, it just kind of drew up the center of the quilt. So I need to kind of stretch that back out. And I'm pretty sure it's possible. We'll see. But I'm going to move you in closer so you can see the ornaments a little better, and so you can see the hangers, and so you can get a general idea. If you're interested in this tree, I do have an entire video series on the channel. Just look for Christmas tree quilt or projector quilt, and both of those will take you to the series, and I will also leave a link in the description box below. So I'm going to move you in closer so you can see the ornaments. All right, so here we are at the top of the tree. And you can see that I put jean tack buttons on the quilt, and the ornaments just simply hang from them. So we have, my husband and I just went through and chose like 35 of our favorite ornaments to put on the tree. And I know I'm probably going a little fast. And yes, there is one missing there because that one is going to be this year's ornament. So it's reserved. We're planning on taking a little trip, and we'll be getting an ornament during that trip. So yeah, here are all of our ornaments that we selected for our tree. And again, we'll pan out a little bit so you can see the entire thing. I am really happy with how this turned out overall, right? Like the two things that I pointed out, I'm kind of bummed that the bottom of the quilt isn't completely level and square, but the cat doesn't seem to mind. And like I said, the background's a little busy. If I had to do that over again, I probably would have just used, tone on tone, maybe. But it turned out really good, and I'm very happy with it. So that's really all I have for you guys this month for my Flosstube. I hope that you were inspired by some of the projects you saw, or maybe you were inspired to create something new, or maybe you're looking forward to something that's coming up. Until next time, I hope you find joy in all you do. Carve out some time for crafting and creating, and make sure it's always happy stitching.